Wait, let me run to my Disgrace 50. I'll be right back. I didn't know y'all had that.
Hey, Disgrace 50. We outside.
We out here.
We out there.
Let me make sure. Okay, my phone is charging. Mm. So we got a so those rooms, the rooms cost so what about the Airbnbs? You look at those?
Yeah, everything. Everything expensive, girl.
Oh well, yeah, because probably everybody
Now
gonna make their
it's about to be something. It's
huh?
about to be a thing.
Okay.
America is saved now, baby.
Right.
How's everybody doing?
All right.
We
Good,
good.
good, good.
Good, good,
It's
good.
famous Friday.
Friday.
It's famous Friday. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. It's famous Friday. How was everybody's holiday?
Oh, it was good. I've been sick. I've been real sick.
What? You had a cold?
Yeah, this is my first time up doing something. Yep.
Wow, I'm glad that you're here with us.
Hmm.
I'm
Yeah,
glad, I'm
yeah.
glad. Blessed
That's
be the
Joey, you
rock.
was sick last week.
Blessed be the rock.
Yep. She the one who probably did it, gave it to me. That's who probably did it.
No, I said, let me tell you something. And we can deal with illegals until this time. You can deal with this little cold, baby.
You're right. You absolutely right. I'm with you on that. You're right.
Okay.
You're right.
How's everybody? Y'all ready? Y'all ready?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Today is a special day. Today we're going to talk about the Chicago Housing Authority, the biggest criminal gang that's in the Chicago streets. Okay? The Chicago Housing Authority was created,
Affectionately known as CHA.
better
Mm.
known as CHA, Section 8 Shorty.
Mm-hmm.
This is dedicated to the Section 8 Shorties. And we're
Mm-hmm.
going to put you up on some game. All right. So the CHA was created in 1937 to own and operate housing built by the federal government's Public Works Administration. In addition to providing affordable housing for low-income families and combating blight, it also provided housing for industry workers during World War II and returning veterans after the war. Oh, they did care about veterans once upon a time.
Mm.
Once upon a time.
Just like that was the first initial intent for welfare, to care for families who, like husbands, had got killed in service and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of that original public services was created behind wars and vets. Yeah.
Right.
The CHA, Chicago Housing Authority, has been responsible for all public housing in the city of Chicago. It is a municipal non-for-profit corporation governed by commissioners who are appointed by the mayor.
Hmm.
Repeat that.
Yes.
The Chicago Housing Authority has been responsible for all public housing in the city of Chicago. It is a municipal non-for-profit corporation governed by commissioners who are appointed by the mayor.
Hmm. Mm.
Governed by commissioners appointed by the mayor.
By the mayor.
Non-for-profit. Don't forget.
Non-for-profit.
And appointed by commissioners.
Yes.
Commissioners are in the county.
Are in the county.
But they say that the county and the city don't have nothing to do with each other. Go ahead.
Hmm.
Are these CHA commissioners? Does CHA have their own commissioners? Let's see where these commissioners are from.
Maybe they not the ones on the 5th floor of the county building.
On the what they like, brother man from the 5th floor.
Yeah, maybe they ain't brother man from the 5th floor.
Oh, so right.
So yeah, these commissioners. So whoever is on the board now serves. These people were nominated by the mayors, so they have their own commissioners, but they are appointed by the mayors.
So when you say mayors, do you mean like
So
each
like
mayor?
for instance, the last person that came in there, she was nominated for the position by Mayor Lori Lightfoot.
Oh, okay. So have Brandon nominated anybody?
Maybe LaShawn Cobb. LaShawn Cobb. Let's look up LaShawn Cobb.
And how many is it? How many is it of them?
It is yep. LaShawn Cobb was appointed to the Chicago Housing Authority Board of Commissioners by Mayor Brandon Johnson in 2024, with her term set to expire on July 7th, 2029.
Okay.
So that's not who was in office when we was down there at CHA that day.
Yeah.
That was somebody different, right?
Yeah, that was Tracy Scott. But
right.
These are the commissioners. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's 10 commissioners. Francine Washington has no expiration date when she stops being I don't know if she's passed away or she's an honorary board member, but they say no expiration date for her. Deborah Parker is a continuing appointment. She has no expiration date either.
No expiration date. Go ahead.
James.
How long has she been in there?
Huh?
How long has she been in there?
It doesn't say. But probably since 1937.
You so stupid. That's about how long we've been voting for Democrats. Come on now, you real crazy. You crazy.
She is to CHA commissioners as Michelle Harris is to aldermen.
Right.
Been
there since forever. You don't know when they came. They just was there when everybody got there.
Right. They put the first brick on whatever they made. CHA. That was my brick right there. That was the first brick right there. Yeah. So yeah, it's sad, but they're a nonprofit. So, woo! All right. The Chicago Housing Authority plays a critical role in managing and overseeing the Section 8 Housing Choice Voucher Program in Chicago, which helps low-income families, seniors, and individuals with disabilities access affordable housing in the private rental market.
Go ahead.
All right. So, I don't know if you guys know, in 1995, the HUD came to get Chicago Housing Authority from Chicago.
In 1995?
1995. So, and
that was probably like towards the tail end, not necessarily tail end, but the height of the crack epidemic. They probably took over CHA. HUD probably took over CHA. Probably they was too ran down or whatever during the crack epidemic. 1995?
Yeah. In 1995, HUD took over the Chicago Housing Authority due to widespread mismanagement, deteriorated housing stock, and unsafe living conditions. This federal intervention aimed to stabilize the reform CHA's operation. However, in 2010, during President Barack Obama's administration, CHA was returned to local control at the request of then Mayor Richard Daley.
So wait a minute, he took it back from HUD and put it back with these people?
Obama gave it back because Richard Daley asked.
Okay.
It was already going down then. And like it is now, like exactly what's going on now, it's the same thing.
So Obama gave it back to the people who were slum, who wasn't doing nothing in the first place.
Yeah, gave it back to the same.
Oh, okay.
Gave it back to CHA.
Right.
Because Richard Daley asked.
Okay.
And his brother, one of Daley's brothers, was on Obama's cabinet. So that's how that goes. CHA was one of the most troubled public housing authorities in the nation when this was in 1995. The takeover allowed HUD to install new management and implement reforms. I don't know where the new management is at.
Or the reforms.
Or the reforms, yeah. Including demolishing, well,
there you go. There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
There it is.
There it is. Including demolishing and redeveloping many of CHA's high-rise public housing complexes under the Plan for Transformation Initiative.
So didn't they tear them down? But I don't remember them rebuilding them.
Right, where they transformed at.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out.
You got the information, Zoe. Where did they transform them to?
Because
tell us, Zoe. Tell us. Tell us, Zoe. Tell us.
Because they tore them down.
A lawsuit that's in that they just settled that they have until 2027 to rebuild all.
Shut up! You ain't finna tell me this.
You ain't finna tell me this.
Say this again.
You all these illegals in here and getting ready to build low-income housing for them. Didn't I say that all these high-rises was the new projects?
So wait a minute. Say that again.
Didn't I say that they the new projects? They didn't see. Look at that immigration plan from 2011 all the way to the opening of the border in this current time, all the way to a plan to house them with new projects by 2027.
You gotta be. Say that again. Say that again, though.
I'm about to get it all to you right now, because I think people need to understand, and it's all off of this one lawsuit that everybody can amend the complaint that's in CHA and win. Okay. So, let's see, which one is this? Oh, yes. On July 31st, 2024, U.S. District Judge Marvin Aspen approved an amendment to the 2019 settlement agreement between CHA and Impact of Equity. The amendment acknowledged CHA's completion of nearly all commitments from 2019 agreement and outlining remaining requirements at 6 developments: Altel Gardens, Lakefront Properties, Madden Wells, Rockwell Gardens, Stateway Gardens, Robert Taylor Homes.
Argyle Gardens. That's why they extended that 95th Street train.
Yeah. Under the new agreement, CHA has pledged to redevelop several mixed income and public housing sites, extending the timeline to 2025 for the former Stateway Garden site. now known as Park Boulevard. The extension aims to ensure the completion of redevelopment efforts that were part of the 2019 settlement.
So the mixed incomes are, you got people who pay regular income and then and low income together, right?
Right.
Mhm.
Hold on, y'all. It's almost like, remember we went to that meeting when they was trying to do that TIF money, get that, remember that you went off, Zoe, and
Yeah.
they doing that downtown on the south,
Yeah, all the time.
where they putting those same type of buildings, a mixed income, trying to put a mixed income
Yeah.
building, yet up on the South Street.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's the only way they can get this TIF money, because the TIF money is supposed to be for blighted areas, blighted. And I don't know if you remember when I first was bringing up CHA, and where CHA comes from is in blighted areas, you know. And that is the like I said, CHA was created in 1937 to own and operate housing built by the federal government's Public Works Administration. In addition to providing affordable housing for low-income families and combating blight. Blight and blighted areas is where the TIF money is supposed to go. And who has the most blighted areas?
We do.
The south side and the west side.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So if they now have learned how to use that word mixed income with lower, they give you 30% of lower income into those buildings downtown. So they can get the TIF money and then use CHA too, because CHA is federal government housing, right? Funding.
Mm-hmm.
Only thing is, that's the new version of redlining.
Right.
If you are a person who has an HCV voucher, Section 8 voucher, right? And
Mm-hmm.
you have a certain amount that it takes, right? It takes, say it's an apartment that's, I don't know, $2,500, and your housing choice voucher covers that. It covers it. When you go downtown and you try to get in any of these high rises with the 30% income, they make you fill out a credit report and all of these things. Mind you, this is Section 8.
Mm-hmm.
The Fair Housing Act law. They make you fill out, make you pay a $500 deposit, right? And they make you fill out, they make you, do a credit check. Now, you get your credit check, you got bad credit, you can't get in there. But these illegals that's coming over here with these new Social Security numbers, these EIT numbers, they can get in there with no problem.
Right.
But with blacks and stuff like that, they are keeping them from coming down there. And they have no mobility areas on the south side. Only the mobility areas are in predominantly white areas. So if you say you do have a place that you find on the south side, Prairie Shores, for instance, right? And since they don't have a mobility area, they have you another price. You go in there and you register for that, and you have bad credit, you can't get in there too. So what's the purpose of having Section 8?
Right. And remember, I asked them when we was up in there, I said, okay, you all doing this mixed income things, will illegals be allowed to take part in this? Remember, I asked that, because if this is for, if this is what's happening, illegals should not be able to be a part of this or take part in this program. Remember, I asked that and they couldn't answer that. Well, they weren't gonna answer that because we knew what the thing was. Ain't that wow?
Jessica?
I mean, I'm just lost for words. I don't get any of it. I don't get any of it. So I just think that, when they went to demolish the projects,
Right.
they needed that. It should have been something in place.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever area they were going to use to rebuild, they should have rebuilt that area and referred those people over to those areas.
Right.
It's a
Right.
lot of unfairness in this. It's unfair to bring it to basically build brand new high rises and fill them up with a bunch of illegals when you allow those projects that house Black people to get under the ground,
Mm-hmm.
to get completely crime infested, to get completely the ran down before you did anything about the living conditions in those buildings. And to turn around now and build brand new housing for illegals, that's horrible. That's
That's true.
horrible. But
Yeah.
it's horrible, but it's also a result of, like a lot of other things in our community, of us not speaking up, us
Mm.
being so hypnotized by getting something free
Mm.
Mhm.
that we sat here for a very long time and allowed just subservient service, just low maintenance, low
Right.
everything. It's just like even outside the projects, when you look at our areas that are full of empty lots, abandoned buildings, desolate businesses. Why has it taken so long for the people that are affected by this to speak up? And,
Mm.
and the big problem of it is because you're getting hypnotized by the fact that you living free or you
Mm.
living cheap. And so now you got a muzzle on your mouth. You can't speak up for yourself. You can't stand for anything because they're going to take your benefits. And And this is how you end up living all the way up to and including them bringing in a bunch of illegals over you and giving them brand new housing while either you gonna stay in somewhere that's ran down, or either if they put you in something new, it's gonna be way, way, way out from
Mm.
everything and everybody. You
Yep.
know, that's one part of it. Then the other part of that is you talk about this mixed income. I mean, that's a two-sided coin. Now, I do agree that it's wrong to misuse tip money like that so that the developers can build cheap
Mm-hmm.
and make profits off of it by way of the city funding. I do agree that that's absolutely wrong. The other side of that is that if you had, and this was on the news not too long ago, people who work and actually pay rent in
Mm-hmm.
those places or actually buy those condos or whatever in those places. And they have a problem with putting lower income in those buildings with them.
That's
And
right.
and and and, and I don't see what's wrong with that. You work to afford you a certain lifestyle.
Right.
Yep.
And America is a capitalist society. It's made up of various classes of people, various economic classes of people, and people who can afford to live a certain way should be able to live a certain way
Exactly.
in
Yep.
peace, in
Exactly.
Exactly.
peace.
They should.
And those who can't, can't.
That's right.
And that's the reality and the world that we live in. And for it to be, let's say, 10 apartments in that high rise, that as a working person, I'm getting turned away from. I want to live in that building. I
There
got
you
the
go.
money to live in that building. I got the credit to live in that building.
There you
I got
go.
the, I got the, I got everything. I got to move in, but I can't because 10 of these units are preserved for low income. And
That's
we all know that once you start letting low income in these buildings, the level of maintenance is going to decrease.
mm-hmm.
The level of care is going to decrease. The type of traffic that comes with that. And I'm not saying everybody is like that, but if we're going to be honest,
That's true.
Yeah. That's why they can't.
We all know people who work have a different, for the most part, unless you're talking about senior citizens,
Okay.
for the most part, do have a different mentality
That's
from
right.
those that don't work. Now, you people can get mad and talk junk in the chat or whatever. We all know that that's the truth.
That's true. That's true. And I definitely wouldn't want, if I'm paying so much money, I don't want nobody who low income come in and put in my building. I mean, it's unfair. It's really unfair.
It's unfair. It's unfair. And the people who do live in CHA need to learn how to stand up for your rights. If you, for whatever reason, have to live low income, okay, but understand that just because you have low income, it doesn't mean you don't have any rights. But when you tell yourself that you can't exercise any rights because they're gonna take your benefits, as opposed to you understanding that you are entitled to those benefits because of the reasons that you qualify for them.
Right.
And you fight for that, but again, it's so many cons behind some of this stuff. If Section 8 is supposed to be for women with children that have low income or don't work, okay, but now you can't report that you got brown water.
Right. There you go.
Like they were saying down in City Hall that day, you can't report that you got brown water when you done moved all these people into your apartment.
Mm-hmm.
Because now you don't want them to come in there and see all the people that's living there. And now, and now possibly you lose that benefit.
Yep.
So now when stuff gets torn up in your apartment, you don't report it.
Yep.
And you look at that for a whole floor of people, for 5 floors of it, 10, 12 floors of it. Now you got ran down property. You got ran down projects, ran down because the people that's living in it literally let it get torn up because they don't want to report it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. The CHA demolished over 18,000 units during the first decade of the plan for transformation, but has failed to rebuild or renovate the promised 25,000 units.
Mm.
The
25,000.
Huh?
25,000.
25,000. The construction rates have significantly slowed since 2011, with only 49 units completed in a single year at one point. Thousands of vacant habitable units remain boarded up or categorized as offline, even as the CHA continues to receive federal funding for these properties.
You gotta be. Wait a minute. Hold on. You just wait a minute. Hold on.
So the invisible men are building invisible housing.
Yeah.
So they still getting funding for this.
Still getting.
But they haven't built it. Instead, they put Section 8 all over the city.
All over the city.
Which end up making crime, spreading crime all over the city. Right, because crime, I'm not to say that crime doesn't take place in all neighborhoods. We know that it does before, for all the touchies. We know that it does, but we also know that when the projects were contained in a certain area,
right,
crime was contained in those certain areas.
Right.
They tore them down, gave people Section 8 vouchers, spreaded them all over the south side, all over the west side, a few up on the north side, in those areas up there, and now crime is all over the city.
Yep. With only fraction of applicants making it onto the wait list during short registration windows, many residents face decade-long waits for housing. I know people that's been on the waiting list since their child has been born, and their child is now 19 going into college.
Right. Right.
Right. But they're gonna bring these illegals in and gonna get them housing right away.
Right away.
Like this humanitarian crisis.
Because it's a humanitarian crisis for them.
The humanitarian. We have dignity.
And you want to hurry up and start building. When we just heard that they haven't been building, been getting money, but haven't been building. But now
all the money. I mean, all the money. $98 million in Brian Citro Lopez is trying to push $1 billion in TIF money for Pilsen for building affordable housing.
And that's the thing that gets you affordable housing, subsidized housing. What they won't just come out and say projects.
Right.
Projects. CHA has failed to adequately provide accessible housing, leaving many people with disabilities and precarious living situations.
Yeah. Where and you know what's crazy is we're down at City Hall all the time. All the time. Where are the advocates for housing advocates for these type of things? Where are the housing group advocates for, like you said, people with disabilities should be given this type of housing? Where are the advocates for housing for the vets that should be? Where is even the advocates for housing for homelessness, period?
Homelessness, they get billions of dollars annually. Homelessness.
And we literally are down there all the time, and nobody's down there advocating for the groups that you just mentioned.
No one.
But they down there, but those organizations down there advocating for illegals.
Summer brings down, he be coming down there and he be voicing his opinion. They'll be paying him no attention.
Who?
Remember the one that Summer be coming down there with? The little disabled guy?
Oh
yeah. Pay no attention.
Mm-hmm.
No attention. And he be having
never came and offered any help after that.
No help after that. They do not. They listen, ignore, and then come down there and scream about how they need this affordable housing has to work. This projects have to work. All this while you listen to people saying like the 95th Street extension. People starting to come down there saying, "Hey, I didn't know I was going to be getting displaced. Tell me this. I'm not getting no information." There's 3, 4 black older women come down there. Not one person went over there to them and talked to them about that.
And she was a 90-year-old woman with her 2 daughters. And which goes back to what we're saying. Where were the rest of the people from that community?
Where?
This is why they can do things like let you live in those facilities with brown water. This is why you can live in those type of facilities and the elevators don't work. The stairwells smell like pee. This is how it happens. How do you just not say anything about what's happening with you? You just don't say nothing.
Don't want to lose your voucher, but you're gonna drink brown water. Your senior building, the elevators are broken, and y'all can't get down. Even if it was some type of fire or something like that, anything happening, you can't do anything because you can't get downstairs because and they don't care. But y'all don't want to say anything because you don't want to lose your voucher. But they got them scared.
But oh wow,
See, you're scared.
Oh wow, you got illegals in that 73rd 50 building on Phillips talking about their rights, talking about they can't put them out like that, and suing Chicago PD because they brought getting them up out of there. All while illegals are advocating for their rights.
Right.
But you don't know to advocate for yours.
Don't know to advocate for yours and won't. And
And
look,
won't.
and won't,
at you
and
like
won't.
crazy. You gonna get me in trouble. What?
Huh?
You drinking brown water. You're drinking brown water.
You can't come in and out how you want, because the elevators are not working, or
You gotta hide people in the closet. You can't even have visitors. You living in jail, baby girl. You living in jail, Papa. You don't gotta live like that. I promise you, you don't gotta live like that.
see things like this. We can't say it's white supremacy. It's you can't say it. It's the same question that I asked when we was talking about all these schools that were closed. Because my question was when Rahm Emanuel was closing all these schools, because you hear it all the time now about how they closed all these schools in the black community. Okay, when it was actually happening, was it pushback? Or did they just let it happen? And now since illegals are moving into schools, now it's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I can't say. I didn't have school age kids here in Chicago at the time. But what I can say is this thing of, which is why I have another problem with low income housing being all over the place.
Right.
Because now we're talking about the issue of property taxes.
Mm-hmm.
Property taxes has a direct correlation to the money that goes into a local school. If everybody in the area is low income, nobody's paying property taxes, you got the less resources in that school.
That's right.
So now you got poverty living on top of poverty education. Now what you're doing is you're recycling poverty. You're
Mm-hmm.
recycling poverty. Now, Donald Trump says when he dismantles education, Department of Education, he wants to give everybody school choice, meaning I can take my kid to whatever school I want to take my kid to. All right, that's beautiful. That's a beautiful thing.
Mm-hmm.
However, for people who don't have transportation, because a lot of low income maybe don't have transportation.
Right.
Brandon Johnson already has cut some of these buses. That's the reason why P. Ray say she have to take her daughter from the west side all the way to Kenwood High School because he cut the busing. Okay, so now this means that you need a good local school.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't get a good local school because it's not enough people paying property taxes because everybody's getting low income. So now just like you won't speak up for your housing, it's
And
very probable that you're not speaking up for your children's education either.
Right. Right.
It's very possible that you're not speaking up about the fact that that school is underfunded. That school doesn't have the resources in it that it needs. That school doesn't have the programs that it needs. That school doesn't have maybe the after school program that it needs. It's very possible in the name of lack of resources that that school doesn't have what it needs either. And just like you're not speaking up for where you live, because you're going to lose your benefits, more than likely you're not speaking up for your child's education being in a ran down school either.
Right.
right.
Absolutely right.
Absolutely right. And the thing with CHA, you're supposed to the whole purpose of being being CHA is to get yourself together. Once you get yourself together, then you move off of it. They even have a program where they're supposed to help you buy a house. That's supposed to be like the last stop, like CHA helping you get you a house, put that down payment, and then you're done with Section 8. But it don't never get to that spot.
Right. It'll never get to that slot.
It goes
Right.
on both people, because there are people that understand the program and want to do the program, but they're mad at you because you know that I can get whatever house I want to get. But Section 8 is going to tell you, no, this is the house you're going to get. But it's not, but in y'all policies and then everything, it doesn't have a type of house I can get. I can get any house I want to get.
Right, right.
It's a CHA program and it's government funded.
Mm-hmm.
So it shouldn't be a matter, but you want me to graduate because this is like a 12-step program for homeless people, CHA. That's what it's supposed to be like. So they help you get yourself together,
Mm-hmm.
your place, and then you've made it. You transition.
That's right.
Out of CHA. But they make it hard on both sides. You got ones who just want to stay in there the whole time and think they can pass it on today. Well, baby, you have 10 kids too. You get then you have the ones that don't want to be on that. You know, a lot of seniors don't want to be on that, but they've learned how to take seniors' property, you know, by eminent domain or taxes or however they want to do it, and then in exchange give them a Section 8 voucher.
Yeah, which is a disgrace.
Which is a disgrace.
Which is a disgrace. It's a disgrace.
And college educated, all that. And they take all
That's a disgrace. That's a disgrace. If Trump, well, not if, when Trump gets in office and we start dealing with this thing for housing for private citizens, that needs to be a separate category.
Right.
For people who have ended up with vouchers, senior citizens who have ended up with vouchers because they've lost their property.
They've lost their property.
Because as we are learning, going through this process, it could be a whole lot of underhanded reasons why that senior doesn't have that property.
Mm-hmm.
And for that, and if that senior has a solid work history, been paying for that house, paying for that mortgage, anything outside of an actual foreclosure should not land them with a voucher. And even a foreclosure shouldn't land them with a voucher. Can you imagine what that does for the psyche of a senior who has built their whole life on being economically independent, being economically sound, being self-sufficient, having to have set goals for themselves and have seen themselves achieve goals and have a plan to pass it on to their children for generational wealth. Can you imagine the psychological impact that has on a senior when they find themselves going from being completely financially, economically independent and economically respected,
right,
that having to live with a voucher? I think that's completely unfair. I don't think that should even be allowed.
And violate the laws like the reasonable accommodation law.
And things like that, when a lot of seniors need reasonable accommodations.
Yeah, they definitely do.
A lot of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, this is
insane.
Insane. Definitely insane. Ooh, hold on. Woo. That was a good one. That was a good one. Preach. On October 28th, Chicago Housing Authority CEO Tracy Scott stepped down as the chief executive of the third largest public housing agency in the nation, amid growing criticism that CHA has not done enough to address the city's affordable housing shortage. Scott, who earned $300,000 a year, left the agency after more than 4.5 years. Angela Herlock, the chair of the CHA Board of Commissioners, will serve as the agency's interim CEO. Now, I got to go look to see who appointed her as and it could have been Rahm Emanuel. And Rahm Emanuel was a disaster when it came to CHA. Okay, so I got to see, because that's how it is. It's a machine. It's all these machine people that they hook up and do all this stuff.
Yeah, they put those people that they know, right, to keep
People,
everything going. Yeah.
right. People,
Especially if they appoint them, the mayors, of course, we know.
yeah, it's just it's a wrap.
Yeah, it's a wrap.
Blasted Scott for allowing CHA properties to deteriorate and sit empty, even with more than 120,000 Chicagoans on the agency's waiting list.
Wait a minute. Say that again. Read that again, Zoe.
People blasted Scott for allowing CHA properties to deteriorate and sit empty, even with more than 120,000 Chicagoans on agency's waiting lists.
Mm.
Did they say how many were vacant, or it's just they didn't say how many were vacant?
No, they didn't say that was vacant. But earlier when we were talking, they promised 20. They were promised 25,000 units, and they didn't even do that.
Let's see how fast they do it now.
But 25,000 units compared to 200,000 Chicagoans on a waiting list.
I don't know how they're gonna do that, because they said they got what? Was it 50,000 or 70,000 illegals here?
70,000.
How are they gonna do all this?
How are they gonna do all this?
But now that what is her name? Tracy Scott.
Yeah, now Tracy Scott, she's out of there. Now Tracy Scott.
Okay, now tell them about how we saw Tracy Scott down there at City Hall when the CHA people came down there that day. That's how we learned about the brown water.
Yeah, well, I've seen Tracy Scott a couple of times, and she the first time, even before I knew we were to do this, I went down there and started going off before I really started going down. That's how I met Mr. Blakemore for the first time. But it was a CHA meeting, and she was there, and they were in line going off on her then. So then we seen her again, and we seen her again. All these people, seniors were down there. You know, young mothers was down there, and they was talking about brown water, and then the seniors were talking about how their elevators and stuff don't work. Now they were talking about all of that. After they were done, they went straight on to Tracy Scott, went straight on to her PowerPoint, acting like what they said didn't even matter. And then she was talking about how they were building all this new affordable housing and doing this and stuff like how they were proud, like they were like they ignored everything they said. Brad, like they didn't care about nothing those people said. And it was packed in there. It was packed.
Yeah, it was packed. It was definitely one of the more crowded City Hall meetings that we've been in.
So you're not even going to address and say, hey, where the brown water, we hear you. You won't even address it.
Right. But my thing is, I say this all the time. If everybody that's in Section 8, that has Section 8 or live in public housing, real talk, you live in public housing, and they have a bed bug ordinance in the city of Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
The bed bug ordinance, if you can get fined up to $1,000 a day, the landlord, if you have bed bugs, and they do not take bed bugs. Do you know how much bed bugs is in public housing? And they are still in the green. Chicago Housing Authority is still in the green, and that is bed bug galore at Mini Ripperton. That's one public housing. There's plenty of public housing. Bed bug galore. They're supposed to get charged $1,000 a day, between $500 and $1,000 a day. These are CHA, and none of these people that live here they're living content with bed bugs. You know how hard it is to get rid of bed bugs?
Very hard, almost impossible. You pretty much got to get rid of whatever they're in.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got all of so you're no one is thinking, nobody, not that one building, none of y'all haven't gotten together and go and sue public housing one after another. What y'all think y'all gonna lose? You think y'all gonna lose? Y'all rather lose? Y'all rather hold on to your voucher and sleep with bed bugs?
Yeah.
And they can't take your voucher. Then you can really get
Because they in violation.
right. Then you can really sue. Now you got really a lawsuit. So, but see, that's why again we don't want to say nothing. But who want to live in a mixed income? You see what I'm saying? Who want to deal with that?
Right.
When you paying $2,200 for a
Or
studio
more. Or
apartment
more.
or more for a studio apartment, and come on, ain't nobody. I'm just saying.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. It don't have nothing to do with being snooty.
That's right.
It don't have nothing to do with that. It has to do with if you get up. It's just like, excuse me. Was it last year? Excuse me. Either it was last year or the year before. Dave Chappelle. He was on TV. It was all over the YouTube because he went to a city hall meeting in the area that he lived in.
Oh, did okay.
And the little town in Ohio that he from, well, apparently he owns tons and tons of businesses in this little town that he live in. So the town that he live in decided they was gonna put affordable housing in this little town. Dave Chappelle showed up at the city council meeting and said and introduced that he was Dave Chappelle. He said, and it's my understanding that you all plan on putting affordable housing in this around in my area. He said, let me make myself clear. He said, now I understand people have housing needs. He said, that's not what this is about. He said, this is about that I have worked very hard to afford me and my family a certain lifestyle. And I want us to keep the lifestyle that I've worked to have.
Right.
He said, now, if the city wants to go on with their plan and put up this housing anyway, he said, I'm letting you all know, I will shut down every last one of my businesses in this town. And walked away from that mic, and you ain't heard nothing about it since.
Wow, I gotta look at that. I didn't know that.
Dave Chappelle, that's for sure. I saw the thing. I watched it.
Yeah, I remember that because he's the one who brought the small. He kept doing a lot of comedy shows and stuff out in his all the land he owns, and that's what got his town out of the red with COVID. He was bringing in so much money with
See,
all his comedy shows and music stuff. It was like the Dave Chappelle show, but just at where he's at, and he was bringing in so much money, so much revenue. He was able to help to the town that he lives in. It's in I think it's like Yellowstone or something like that. Ohio. It's in Ohio.
Some of them, but it's a town in Ohio.
see, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's the way. That's it, right there.
And maybe like a month after that, Steph Curry said the same thing. He was he was not for affordable housing where he
right. Because it's only right. Like they trying to put it in what the areas. What is that? The South Shore area where they got the homes and middle class.
Like over here. Like over here, South Shore has always been a working class neighborhood. As it is now, you already got tons of Section 8 over here. We do not need high-rise affordable housing over here as well. In addition to that, when you got all these abandoned 2 flats and 3 flats and 6 flats in South Shore, fix those buildings up.
And let people buy them, and then bring the taxes and bring the revenue. Get the taxes and bring the revenue. That's how you can. But see, that only makes sense. It only makes sense when you allow residents and allow people to buy. So then, therefore, that money goes back, and it goes back into the system. Go back into making the Chicago great. But see, This is, you have to, it don't even make sense. You would think that's what they would do, but to put a bunch of affordable homes where, like you said, taxpayers, it's a bunch of low income, so they're not getting taxes from that. How do you square that circle? That don't make sense. So they got to be just getting paid and coming up. It has to be, because I don't see no other way. It don't make sense.
And then you flood the city with low income and put projects all over the place, and then you go move out to the suburbs.
Right. It don't make sense, because now you're not even bringing in revenue you're not even bringing in that revenue.
Not bringing in revenue. And now those areas go down because you're not bringing in revenue.
Right. That's why I said that don't even make sense.
It does if you're trying to make a socialist communist, go back to a two-class society and all that, then it makes sense.
You're absolutely right. That's the only way it makes sense. You are absolutely right. That's it.
So one of the main key players, so Tracy Scott left, and Tracy Scott should have left because she messed up Minneapolis Housing Authority too. She was there too. She was terrible there too. And what they do is, what I've learned too, these people go to other cities and mess up their housing authorities, their school systems, right? And then they come back here. And they get a point. Like, it's like, well, we know you was able to mess up those other cities. Come to Chicago, we know you corrupt.
Because the bar here is so low due to the level of corruption. The bar here is so low. And when you over here in Minneapolis messing up, come on over here to this substandard systems that we have. We can keep the corruption going. But that's part of the reason why we took you in your downfalling state. Was because if I can make you agree to any and everything that we doing here. And that's part of keeping the corruption going too.
That's true. That's it right there. That's true. That's true.
Other than that, why would you fool with people that's already proven to be a loser?
Right. That don't make sense. It don't make sense. Like you said, it don't. Unless, like you said, you need them to keep the corruption going and not say nothing.
Because they so lucky to come to Chicago with a record like that. They looking at it Chicago, but you're not looking at it's the low politicians and the low level of honesty and integrity that allows those type of politicians to come on into a big city like this.
That's right. That's right.
Yep. So another key player in here, she's been here for a long time, 25 years. Cheryl Burns served as the Chief Housing Choice Voucher Officer for the Chicago Housing Authority. Since ascending to that role in 2018, she has overseen the day-to-day management of the HCV program, which serves 47,000 participants and 165,000 emergency housing vouchers. Over more than a 25-year career, Ms. Burns has held affordable housing leadership roles in small, medium, and large public housing authorities around the nation. See this around the nation thing?
Around the nation?
And that's how, messing up housing authorities one city at a time.
One city at a time.
Ms. Burns is an Illinois native who holds a bachelor's degree in marketing from Columbia College in Chicago and a master's degree in communications and training from Governor State University. She doesn't communicate at all.
What? Look at the degree.
What does that have to do with knowing about housing or urban planning?
Right. What the heck? You mean? Wait a minute, y'all. We gotta be in a reality show, like for real. We gonna wake up.
She is the who's head of the Housing Choice Vouchers.
We gonna wake up and they gonna say, "Hey, y'all, you know that was a dream y'all been in."
We could only hope for that, Danny.
This is crazy.
Crazy.
This is crazy.
So it's her. You got the new person now. There's Angela Murdoch. Angela Murdoch is that she's taking over Tracy Scott's. She's taking over her. So so she will be the new.
What's the common thread? Black women in the high position.
Black women who can't do anything. She was appointed by Mayor Lightfoot in 2019. He has over 20 years experience of affordable housing. All right. You got the Chief of Staff, Dan Cruz. Chief of Staff since 2021. He oversees agency operations, focusing on intergovernmental affairs and community relations. He holds a political science degree from Northeastern University and the University of Chicago Civic Leadership Academy Fellow. A political science degree.
Y'all, we just need people. We need common sense people. We just need. This is great. We need people.
Eric Garrett, who's a COO. Eric Garrett oversees CHA's property and asset management divisions, as well as the agency's quality assurance and sustainability efforts. He has been with CHA for more than 25 years. They be out here for a long time now.
25 years, huh? Messing up for 25 years, destroying everything.
And just been sitting here doing nothing. Now all of a sudden the immigrants get here and it's a burst of emergency to get stuff built.
Right.
Get stuff built. But that's because of that lawsuit. There's a lawsuit let me tell you, CHA been trashed for a very, very, very long time.
For a very long time.
Yeah, for a very, very long time. And there's a lawsuit. It's called the Guttru lawsuit. It was a pivotal case that challenged the racial segregation in Chicago's public housing. The initial they started in 1966, but the people keep amending to this lawsuit.
Hold on, this lawsuit been since 1966.
Huh?
Since 1966.
Yeah, she won. But they keep violating everything in this lawsuit.
Oh, God. Okay.
So people keep amending on this.
Okay.
So the initial 2019 settlement agreement requires CHA to develop the scattered site housing. What we talked about earlier, they used this lawsuit. They amended this lawsuit.
To scatter those places. That's what you're talking about. To scatter those places.
Yeah, to start building them. Okay. Although they haven't been built, they haven't made their promise, so they have until 2027 to build them up, right? The Guttru suit was filed on behalf of Dorothy Guttru in 1966 by the group that is now Impact for Equity. The group sued after years of white politicians ensuring that most of the CHA's large high-density developments like the Robert Taylor homes on the south side and Cabrini Green on the near north side were kept out of white neighborhoods, concentrating them in low-income Black communities. 3 years later, in the Landmark case, a federal judge blocked the CHA from building additional high-rise, high-density developments. He also ordered the agency to place future public housing outside of segregated Black areas. A 2019 settlement was billed as a landmark moment in the case. It set a July 2024 sunset date. If CHA met all the requirements, including straightening its housing choice voucher program, developing and implementing early learning program initiatives in some of its developments, and following a detailed schedule for the planning and construction of housing as part of its plans for transformation for mixed income communities that was already underway or planned.
Mm.
So they used that lawsuit.
Mm-hmm.
So and a lot of people are men because they've broken so many laws since 1966. People literally can go back to that lawsuit, take the law or the federal law that they have violated, and 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 uh and use that same lawsuit, and they're gonna win.
I wonder if people who've been on this, who been on the program for like, who've been waiting for like 10 years or so, like that, long time. I wonder, could they sue if they find out that these illegals have been getting Section 8
Yeah,
before them?
yeah.
The
So,
question is, will they? That day
Yeah, the
you're
question
talking
is,
about,
will they?
the question is, will they? That day, give me some water. That day when, what you say her name, Tracy Scott,
Tracy Scott.
was down there at City Hall, and people were getting up talking about their living conditions and about how they had been trying to get in touch with this Tracy Scott, how Tracy Scott wouldn't meet with them, or if she sent people there that were from these investment companies or whatever, that the people didn't come or they didn't show up, or if they came, they didn't do anything about it. I mean, it's like you said, it was crowded in there that day. And there was a lot of people, and everybody got to the mic to speak. Well, Zoe did her 3 minutes. And in her 3 minutes, she talked about how, look, you all living with these conditions and stuff, but you all need to sue.
right.
Sue the city. Don't just take this land down. You exercise your rights. Sue the city. Da-da-da. Do you know after that, nobody got in touch with Zoe about that. Nobody asked her, how do you do it? Or what were you talking about? Where do we go from here? No. So it's not, so the answer to your question, can they sue? Yes. The issue is not can they sue, the issue is will they?
Will they sue? That's it.
Can they, and some of them I'm sure are so scared to be retaliated against. I believe that that's probably a real fear.
Right.
I think that if you say something about your voucher or some, I think that probably you will get retaliated against and blacklisted if it's just you. But
Right.
if it's several of you, then
Mm.
no, you're not going to get retaliated against. You're not. But what we have to learn as a group is to have some stick to itness.
Mm-hmm.
You come down there, you say this one thing, especially if a black woman, and you tell somebody off, you give them a piece of your mind, and then if things don't happen that fast,
Right.
you don't come back. You don't keep trying. You start saying, I went down there, I talked, they ain't gonna do nothing, they ain't did nothing. Not understanding that it's gonna take consistency to
Mm-hmm.
get something done. Not
Right.
understanding that over the past years, in order to get anything done, you didn't go into uh the White House in 1823 and say, we want out of slavery right now.
Right.
It was a process. You didn't get to say, we want to get out of Reconstruction and sharecropping today.
Right.
We don't, you didn't get to Jim Crow and pull that colored only sign down right now at
Right.
5 o'clock, and at 5:05, doggone it, them white boys knew to go get that color sign down. What world are you living in?
Right.
What world are you living in? Black people problems be big problems.
Yes.
What world are you living in that makes you think that you don't have to have some stick to itness
Right.
in order to make things happen for you? I don't know. I don't know if it comes from being having social media and the internet at your fingertip where you can just hit something and get results that fast, or I don't know. But this thing of thinking, this misconception of thinking that you don't have to put work in to get results, I don't know what that is. And if you're not willing to put the work in, then I guess you're willing to have brown water.
Right.
Mm. Mm.
I did this last year. I was looking at, I said, starting in Chicago, Illinois. Chicago has a major bed bug problem. So the city decided to pass a bed bug ordinance in 2013. The landlord will be fined first violation $300 to $500, second violation $500 to $1,000, third violation $1,000 to $2,000 a day. That's not even with the federal laws that are being violated as well. Chicago Housing Authority buildings are bed bug infested. The seniors and families have complained, have had to buy furniture 2 to 3 times. Family and friends are scared to visit. Nothing is done. Many tenants have reached out to lawyers, and the lawyers refuse to fight the city. The Chicago Authority is the third largest public housing agency in the nation. 14 family public housing properties, 43 senior properties, 77 scattered properties, 18,800 units. If we just sue the minimum of $500 per violation, that total will be $3,380,000,000.
Mm.
You know, the fact that that attorneys won't take, we keep seeing the same thing over and over
Same
again.
cycle. Yeah.
You know, violations of housing rights or housing issues that the local attorneys won't go against the city about.
Right.
And a lot of that has to do with, it seems, it appears that everybody we look up that's a public official, whether they be an attorney, whether they be a public administrator, whether they be a judge, whether they be an alderman, a council, everybody you look up have a real estate license. Everybody's a realtor. Everybody's estate planning. Everybody's, you know, have a sole practice. It's I don't know if they're buying these real estate license or what, but it's everybody that's connected to anything that have to do with housing in these public official positions. You keep seeing the common thing: realtors, real estate, estate planners. I said, you know, so now when it's time to go against the city because a private citizen is being violated, rights are being violated, you can't get any attorneys to take your cases because all of them are plugged in with these people. That's another FBI investigation that needs to take place.
Right.
Right. Yup.
You keep seeing the same common threads.
Yeah. Right. You're right. It's the same common threads. And what they've learned to do is, because we do not fight back or we don't say anything, they just violate all the laws. They're violating the Fair Housing Act. They're violating
They're violating the Civil Rights Act of 1964 with discrimination in housing. I'm sure they are.
Yeah, I'm sure they are. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, but yeah, definitely that.
I mean, once you violate the Fair Housing Act and the Civil Rights Act of 1964 housing, anything else you pull up, it ain't going to outweigh those. Now, I'm sure that there are, you know, tenant laws, local tenant court laws and court rules and things like that that are there, or the tenant, you know, the tenant agreement, Chicago tenant law agreements and stuff like that, they're there. But all of those are still based on the Civil Rights Act of Housing and the Fair Housing Discrimination Act. Nothing that you're gonna pull up gonna supersede those. And I'm sure they violate those.
A2, American Disability Act.
Yeah.
That's up there with that.
Yeah, that's up there with that. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, and no one is challenging that. Like, they are
right. But that's up there with that Disability Act. Yeah.
they're violating all the laws, and no one is saying anything.
So
Because they're gonna lose their benefits.
Yeah,
so what would
they
people
don't
do
lose
then?
their
If
benefits.
what would people do? Okay, so if a lawyer won't take the case or whatever, then how else? What
Pro
would they
se,
do? Huh?
pro se, who, what, when, where, why, how did it affect you? I mean, it's really like, I've always started with that. Even
Don't
with
say.
who, what, where, when, why, how it happened, how did it affect me, what laws they violated. Your honor,
Okay.
dear your honor. That's how I used to do it. Dear your
Oh,
honor. And we used to write a letter to them, write a letter to the judge, because I'm pro, I wasn't a lawyer, you know what I'm saying? A lawyer. All I know is that they violated these laws. I got
mhm.
evidence to prove it, but all those times was private. I sued private businesses. And
Right.
Mhm.
It's
I
very
never did
different when you sue a public entity. It's very
first
different.
time I've ever sued a public entity, and this is like, oh, what?
It's very different because you're dealing with such large pots of money, and you're dealing with so many different levels of hierarchy in public employment. They got unlimited taxpayer money, like you just read.
Mhm.
CHA is a non-for-profit
Right,
Mhm.
entity, so it's not so technically you're not looking at the profits.
Mhm.
Okay, whereas in a private company, your number one goal is to make profit. So
Right.
you're doing away with lawsuits much quicker. You're looking to
right,
settle much faster because it's cutting the, paying all these attorneys and all these court fees is going into the profits of your business. But when you're a public entity like the city and the county, that's different. It's completely different. You got unlimited resources because you're pulling from taxpayers' money.
Mhm.
You got just levels and levels and levels of hierarchy.
right,
So I mean, you can come together as a
Mhm.
group, like you say, and write a letter of complaint to somewhere. Yeah,
Mhm.
but when it comes to actually filing a lawsuit against a government agency, no, you're going to have to prepare those documents. Now
yeah,
you can do it. It's all type of self-help information out there, all type of in this day and time stuff on the internet. That's how we've been able to do a lot of our pro se work because you can tap into it by the internet and stuff now. But
Mhm.
know this,
Okay.
when you go up against a governmental agency, it is nowhere the same. It's when you go up against a private company. Even if you go up against a major private company, it's still not the same because that major private company still is looking at their profit. That private company still is looking at its reputation,
right,
whereas the city, it can have the worst reputation in the world. The county can have the worst reputation in the world, but because it's over public services, people still gonna use it.
Yep.
The
Yep.
schools can have the most horrible reputation in the world, but because it's a public school system, the taxpayers still have to use it. The public still has to use it.
Mhm.
right,
So it's not like uh uh you can withhold services or the people can withhold their services to a public entity like they can, like you say, if you sue Delta, the private citizen can say we won't go to Delta Airlines and really hurt Delta.
right,
Whereas you can't say we're not gonna go to public school
Right. Right.
unless you got the money to pay for a private school.
right,
So that's the difference.
Right. Right.
That's a major difference. However, you can still go against those entities. I don't want it to seem like it's impossible. Again, inmates teach you that when they go pro se and represent themselves in their appeals and stuff.
right,
You can do it, but you have to be willing to
Mhm.
put the work in.
right.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
Walter Burnett Jr. Said that the Chicago Housing Authority is not part of the city of Chicago. And the crazy thing is, he's absolutely right. With many people that assume the Chicago Housing Authority is part of the the city of Chicago government, it actually operates as a separate federally funded entity under the oversight of the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development.
Really?
So it's under HUD.
Under HUD. That's why when HUD came and took it over in 1995. It was like, they need to come back again.
So at the current time, it's under who?
HUD person.
But at this current time, it's under who? CHA at this current time is under who?
It's really under HUD too.
Is it? It's still.
Yeah, they just do what they do. But CHA just run. They gangster.
So we got didn't Trump did to do this new cabinet member that's over HUD?
Turner, he's gonna be over HUD. But yes, HUD is supposed to still have CHA, but they don't do nothing. They don't care.
Who is the appointee for HUD that's under the new administration?
It was what was her name? Marjorie.
No, it's that black guy. It's the black guy.
Oh.
It's a black guy. I can't.
No, not Turner. But no, the one before that, it was this lady. Hold on.
Oh.
Yeah, she retired. She retired real quick. And then she Fudge. Marsha Fudge. That's who what's his name? Biden appointed. And then she hurried up and announced her retirement earlier this year.
Right. Right.
And they got some other people in there, but they ain't doing what they supposed to be doing. So the new one that's coming in is Scott Turner.
Okay, that's his name, Scott Turner.
Scott Turner that Trump has appointed.
Okay, so you hear that. So now you hear that, listeners. Scott Turner is the new appointee for HUD. You just heard Zoe read that according to Alderman Burnett, just the city of Chicago, it's not who you would make your suit against. It has to go against HUD. And you just heard her say that the new appointee is Tim Scott. So
now Scott Turner.
Scott Turner. I'm sorry, what did I say? Tim Scott? Oh, Lord. Scott Turner. So now start preparing your information, start talking to each other, coming together to try to bring it to the attention of the new person, Turner Scott. Or you can tell yourself the famous line that we often tell ourselves. It ain't gonna do nothing. It ain't gonna do no good.
Yeah, and he's from He's from Texas. Okay. He went to the University of Illinois. He played football, number 19 and 21, professional football. He was a cornerback. He was NFL draft 1995, round 7, pick 226. He played for the Washington Redskins, San Diego Chargers, Denver Broncos. Okay, and he worked as an intern for Congressman Duncan Hunter when he was all his off seasons. After retiring from football, he accepted a full-time job in the congressman's office. In 2006, he ran for the seat of California's 50th congressional district in the 2006 special election to replace Duke Cunningham. Okay. He lost that election. He moved back to Texas, and then he was the 33rd district of the Texas House of Representatives. Okay. He is a pup. He's sworn in as one of the emerging leaders in the Republican Party. Okay. In 2019, President Donald Trump appointed Turner as a director of the White House Opportunity and Council. He created the Executive Order 13853. And then in 2024, he has nominated Turner for the position of Secretary of Housing and Urban Development.
Mm.
And before, when he was in there last time, he had Ben Carson. And Ben Carson was good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he was. I like Ben Carson was good. Ben Carson was a good one. So yeah.
But what made Ben Carson good?
Yeah, I thought Ben Carson was good.
No, I'm saying what made him good.
Oh, if you had any type of the response was quick. My mom wrote him twice, but yeah, his response is quick. He gets right on it. Yeah, that's what it's supposed to be like.
In the programs where that's who
It's never supposed to wait this long.
with the opportunity zones and stuff. That's what's his stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, with
That was under Ben Carson.
Huh?
Yeah.
That was under them. That was under Ben Carson. Those opportunity zones.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. The what messed up the opportunity zones were these greedy preachers and these sellout elected officials.
That's it.
They keep
That's it. Yup.
things.
Can you say that's it?
That's it. That's it.
Right.
They was trying. That's it right there. It's always. That's why we gotta get rid. Hey y'all see our shirts, right? I don't know if y'all can read them. They say disgrace. Look at disgrace 50. Disgrace 50.
And you wonder why.
Yup, and you wonder why. This is
terrible.
It's our elected officials that's allowed this garbage to happen.
Yep.
So, does anybody have any questions?
Look, Miss, what is it? Disgrace 50, and what Miss Jackson say? We coming for them seats.
I love your shirts. How can
Where the back? What it say? We coming for them seats.
Truth lifestyle@gmail.com.
That's right. Look at that. We coming for them seats.
Uncomfortabletruth.lifestyle.com. Please support. Someone said Ben Carson never panics and is a very fair person.
I liked him. I really liked him too.
Is there any residents of CHA that are in the chat?
Any residents of CHA that's in the chat? Are y'all drinking brown water? Scott Turner? Anybody? Well, I know that my mother, they've made my mother a recipient. And what I see is that the city of Chicago won't settle my mother's case. And they're wrong. They violated the Fifth Amendment. They violated the 14th Amendment. They violated federal Illinois demolition laws. They've violated every law, and we have all the evidence to prove it. But they spending millions on fighting this case that we have against the city for them violating their own laws. But here my mother is with this housing choice voucher.
Ain't that terrible?
Ain't that terrible? Ain't that terrible?
Rights on the housing choice voucher. My mother is supposed to get reasonable accommodations. Reasonable accommodations is supposed to be if my mother needs to get, my mother's 75. She may need to get something to help her go in the tub. Those things. My mother may have to be in a certain building that has elevators and stuff like that, and she may need to be right next to an elevator when she first gets off. All of these things in these mobility areas. Exception payment standard, meaning that if she decides to get something that it may be $3,500 with the reasonable accommodation in the EPS, and her housing choice voucher, she's supposed to get that because she's a senior. And accommodations, or you're disabled, any of those things, they have to accommodate you. And this is a law. This is a HUD law that the city of Chicago decided last year because my mother's blacklisted because she reads the fine print and sees all those things, that they have said that they decided that they're not doing reasonable accommodation anymore, or EPS. They're violating the whole federal law. But because they don't want to, they want to have a person just give up the voucher or lose your voucher. They have made it hard that my mother can't get an apartment in any of these mobility areas. And then the mobility area is not, there's not none in the black area. The mobility area is only in the white areas. But y'all won't settle my mother's case because my mother don't want Section 8.
Come
she
on.
Don't want to be on this. She
Come
wants
on. Come on.
her case so we can go back to doing what we were doing. My mother is a businesswoman. My mother went to college for a reason. My mother never has been on food stamps and welfare. But y'all done knocked our building down and won't pay my mother. But you give her this Section 8 voucher, and she got to go through all these rules that she shouldn't have to go through because y'all need to settle her case. My mother want to pay her own rent. She want to live where she want to live.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So
She want to live where she want to live.
Allowing them to do when you got people like my mother and other people like Miss Jessica and Danny who's not afraid to stand up. Why don't y'all try it?
Try it.
Why don't y'all try it? They are breaking laws.
Left and right.
They're breaking laws.
Left and right.
Left and right. They can't stop breaking the law. They're addicted to breaking laws. It's a mental illness at this point. They're just breaking laws.
They really are. They really are. I went this morning to file paperwork. They just breaking laws. They just are. They're just breaking laws.
Breaking laws.
And what's so sad is that when you try to tell Black people, you try to tell them they're breaking laws. Right. They stealing property. They did. I don't know why. I don't know why their first instinct is not to listen and learn. No, the first instinct is to try to find something wrong with what you're saying. Try to find some type of loophole. Try to find some way to tell you that something you did wasn't right, that you should have did this. What about this? No, how can I just don't understand why you can't get it through your thick heads.
Thick head.
That they're stealing property, that the city and the county is corrupt. They're stealing property.
Stealing property. Stealing property, stealing land. They knocked down Ida B. Wells.
Stealing land.
They knocked down Ida B. Wells and put a Mariano's there. Where them people at that they displaced?
Where those people? Where those people? The Obama over there up here by the Obama Center. Those people that's being displaced. Where those people?
Where?
The people that's getting displaced to build the 95th Street Dan Ryan extension. Where those people? Where those people?
My God.
Where those people?
Life insurance. Cause y'all gave him no place to live anymore.
Where are these people? Where are these people? Well, you know, when you pass on, do you understand that you cannot pass on a Section 8 voucher? You cannot pass on low income apartment. You will never own those things. Even though Zoe's mother is fighting and Zoe is fighting, I'm fighting. What we do know is, first of all, we got something to fight for.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, we also know if we stay in there, hang in there, the law is the law. It's no way we can end up belly up with nothing. The only way we can end up with belly up without anything is if we quit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. If you quit. Yep.
Yep.
Quit.
Yeah, they paid the people in the Icking projects.
Oh, and the ickies.
Yeah, the Icky projects, $2,500 to move to the state of Iowa.
You know what?
Sound
That's
fun.
why so many people ended up in Iowa. No, real talk, real talk. A few years ago,
Mm-hmm.
it was like everybody was like moving to Iowa. Was in, and you like Iowa? Listen, but now that he says that, the common thread was they did live in the projects.
Mm. Mm. So they paid them to move to Iowa. 20.
Yep.
I know, because I was like, Iowa? What's in Iowa? And I know quite a few people who went to Iowa.
Oh,
And then it's like, how do you go from Chicago to wanting to live in Iowa? And that's the reason why they was getting paid to go there. Again, you know, just putting yourself in a position to just go wherever they push you to.
right.
Not you being able to live where you want to live. And even with redlining and all this now, we're already restricted in our living. But then when you with government assistance in the way that ties your hand, it further lessens your choices.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what we got to understand. And I've heard some people say things like, well, Section 8, that's our reparations. Is it? Is it? I want you to just think about that for a minute. You mean to tell me all that raping, all that beating, all that belling of the cotton, all that for hundreds of years was for you to end up being able to live in CHA for free and drinking brown water? That's reparations. How do you think so low of yourself to say something like that? Even if for whatever reason life ends up where you have to make those type of choices. Okay, it is what it is. But to put that on the back of ancestors after all that they went through without any help from the government.
Right.
You talking about, as they say, quote unquote, getting it from the mud. That's who got it from the mud.
Yeah.
And it's amazing that when I was young, growing up, it was so much shame attached to being on welfare. People understood that you had to be on welfare for different reasons, like that, but it wasn't something that you plotted to go to. It wasn't revered. It wasn't it damn sure wasn't thought to be a form of reparations.
Right. Yep. Yep. You're right.
If you look at a lot of those 60 film strips and stuff, you will see the signs with people saying, we want jobs, not welfare.
Sure did.
That's the issue now. They'll give you this affordable housing and welfare link cards and stuff instead of giving you a job.
Right.
If you are employed, especially if you are skillfully employed, you can pay your rent.
That's right.
Or you can make a purchase of property.
Right.
Why stifle your growth, your mental growth, your financial growth. And at some point, it even weighs on your spiritual growth.
Right, sure is.
By just having such low aim. Having the pride of taking care of your family and taking care of your children. Or as that line in A Raisin in the Sun by Lorraine Hansberry, that play A Raisin in the Sun. And when the mother tells Walter Leigh, it makes a difference when a man walk on floors that belong to him. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
Come on. My mother is gone to glory, but I know my mother, and I know the pride she had, the pride my father had, the pride my grandparents had, and my uncles and stuff had, that they worked and that they attained things. They set goals and they obtained things.
That's right.
And they worked and they walked a certain way.
Right.
Your mother and your godfather, what has happened to them is past horrible. What has happened to them trying to steal my mother's estate is more than low life.
Mm-hmm.
But Zoe, your mother and your godfather are alive to see you fighting for their stuff, for their property. You keep fighting for their property. Don't you stop. No matter what, don't you stop. Don't you not at all let your mother and your godfather think that everything that they work for is in vain, that these crooked politicians can just come and take their stuff.
That's right.
Your
That's right.
mother is 70 some years old. Your godfather is in his 80s. They've been through enough. They've been through enough. Just by their age alone, they've been through enough. You continue to fight for them because you young.
Mm-hmm.
And you're gonna reap more of the benefit when the case settles. You and your sisters gonna end up reaping more of the benefits than they will.
That's right.
But believe me when I tell you, it does stay heart glad to see that you fighting for them. It does stay heart glad, and so you keep on fighting for them.
Right.
Don't you stop behind these crooked people, behind these crooked politicians. You get them one by one, how you got to get them. And you keep doing what you got to do, because this is horrible. For your mother and godfather to have worked as much as they did and have acquired the things that they did. I saw the blueprints.
Mm-hmm.
I saw the blueprints. And I saw the lots of land. I saw it. And I'm going to tell you honestly, I wasn't expecting to see all that.
Mm-hmm.
When we went over to your press conference that day, I mean, I had heard you describe what your mother and godfather had, but I hadn't actually seen it. And to see that they acquired all that land and somebody now gonna just try to take it?
Right.
No, no, I'm with you 100% on that. No,
That's right.
no. And when your mother came up to City Hall, David Moore had the audacity to get up and walk out when they called her name for her to come to that mic. He proved himself to be the lowest alderman in that chamber. All this time, I thought Walter Burnett was the lowest. But no. David Moore got him beat. Raymond Lopez and Quinn got up and stood up when she said, "I'm the mother of Zoe Leigh. I'm Zoe Leigh's mother, Charlene Martin." Raymond Lopez and Quinn, Alderman Quinn, they got up. They stood up. and turned to face Zoe's mother and stood there at attention listening to her. Not that David Moore. That David Moore got up and ran out. I told Zoe, I said, look, he running. Look. It was the most disgusting thing you ever seen before in your life. All that him sleeping outside in the tent with a book for the bullets and stuff.
Right. Right.
Right. Right.
He ran when a 75-year-old constituent stood to address him about something that's his ward. He ran. The Hispanic alderman and the white alderman is the one who stood up to attention.
They say Ray Lopez is a wolf in sheep clothing.
Maybe. You know what I'm saying? Maybe. We are right. Maybe. That's why we said the whole disgrace 50. Everybody.
They also said Raymond Lopez is a coward.
You know, like we said, maybe.
It's 50.
Yeah, maybe.
Weasels in suits.
Right. Disgrace 50.
It said weasels in suits.
You said what, Zoe? They said what?
And then they said
weasels in suits. Yes.
Yeah. That's why we have to get rid of these people. That's why we keep telling you all they have to go.
Hey, Lopez's goal is giving his Hispanics control over Black Inglewood.
It may be because they are all coming over there. It may be because they are all in Inglewood. So, like I said, hey, maybe. Right. Look, ain't nobody gonna dodge the smoke. Anybody and everybody can go get it.
It's a smoke.
Right. I have no mercy because nobody has resolved my problem.
Right.
Raymond Lopez is trying, but he's outnumbered.
Maybe, like we said, maybe. Maybe. But like we said,
there might be some truth to that. It might be some truth to that.
Lopez, I said Lopez wants to be the first Hispanic mayor.
Maybe. Look. Maybe. Look.
Here, I think maybe in Texas.
You think maybe in Texas?
Yeah. Texas, California, the Hispanic mayors and stuff could be because they already let a Chinese be a mayor there and all that. So let California and Texas deal with the
Yeah.
So maybe
yeah.
So
everybody, so any last words? Somebody said, what is it? I want to be Beyonce looking at alderman. Are you talking about Stephanie Coleman? And
they said what?
They said, what's the name of that young wannabe Beyonce? I don't think she want to be Beyonce, but Stephanie Coleman.
Oh.
Yeah, I have please start getting y'all letters together and start writing and getting ready for the Department of Justice. It's going to be a whole new administration with a whole new Department of Justice, Department of Housing, and some other departments that's going to have all new leadership in there. So continue to get y'all stuff together. And this is the time to start fighting back. These housing authorities should have been sued a long time ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and make sure that my last words are make sure, maybe after the new year, make sure everybody call your alderman. Let your alderman know. I know what you did last year. You know how that movie, I know what you did last summer. I know what you did. And you voted for that bill. And we come in for those seats. So let them know, call them and let them leave a voicemail. We know you voted, even if they didn't vote. for it. Listen, we watching, and because they got a couple more budgets they're gonna be voting for. We watching, and we are making sure that we take a list. If you vote anything that's not in our best interest, we coming for those seats. Make sure y'all call your aldermen and tell them that.
Yeah, yeah. And most importantly, understand you have rights regardless of your economic status or your educational status. You
Right.
have rights and
Yeah.
you need to exercise those rights. And if people coming over here from other countries know the power of those rights to use them, even though they're not even theirs,
Right.
Right.
then how do you not know that you can use your rights to protect yourself? At this point, it's becoming a matter of choice now.
Mm-hmm.
It's becoming a matter of choice now. And if that's your choice, okay, but accept that. And then just go on, with your life. But don't sit around and complain and blame and all that when you're not doing what you can do to help yourself.
That's
Right.
right.
And the one thing that you can do to help yourself is to exercise the rights that you have.
Yeah.
Everything shouldn't have to, the complete bottom of everything shouldn't have to fall out before it dawns on you that you need to do something to better your situation and to better your life and to better your community. The time is here now to do something different, to put on your big girl pants and your big boy pants and do something different and fix your conditions.
That's right.
Try again now, Ebony. Try again now, Ebony.
What is she saying?
She says you sent a donation and it bounced back last week. I said, try again.
Yes, try again now, please.
Yes. Somebody asked for our email addresses. It's Chicago all hands on deck at gmail.com. It's Chicago all hands on deck at gmail.com.
Mhm.
And yes, I just want us to understand our privilege. We all have privilege, and we need to understand that. Like if it don't sound right, it probably ain't right. And don't stop letting these people violate our rights when we fund everything in America. We
Mhm.
fund everything. Customer service. The consumer is always right. And customer service,
Mhm.
right? And we're the consumer.
That's right.
And we need and we're definitely right because we got all our receipt. We got our receipt. We got our receipt. If we was to take this, if my case was something like a Louis Vuitton bag and I had the receipt, I don't care if I wore it 15 times. Louis Vuitton would still take it back
Mhm.
if I got the receipt. Same with Chanel. Same with all high end. All high end. So they understand the importance of customer service. They understand the importance of that customer coming back
Mhm.
and back and back.
And I think it was a correction in the house.
Oh, it was a correction.
Oh, correction in
Yeah,
the
I think Kelly was saying something about something that we said needed to be corrected. It has something to do, I think, with the Louis Vuitton return analogy.
She said you can't return?
You can return. What's the policy, Kelly? If it's worn, you cannot return it.
Now we talking about if something go wrong with it.
I know that, but
If something go wrong
I
with
also
it.
know that all them housewives return it very fast.
I'm saying if something go wrong with it. Like if
And I've seen them housewives return it as soon as they use it on their set.
Did you hear that, Kelly? She said, mm-hmm. Yes.
Well.
Yeah.
On that note,
On that note,
hi cousin.
did you hear her? She said, "Hey."
Oh my
Came
God.
in here, look, came in here with the quote unquote info.
Right.
With the right.
We
The
did.
right info. Let me correct you.
Right. My mother do it too. She over here. Yeah. Now you need that. You need the
Uh,
corrections.
Yeah, yeah. But
So,
no, but
right.
I think that the principle
Informative.
was there though.
yeah.
That stand up for yourself.
Right.
Mhm.
There's really nothing wrong with that. And see, but we do know that the Democrats, that's their number one tactic, that fear mongering.
Yep.
You
That's
know,
that.
fear mongering. If you tell that about that voucher, you tell or file a complaint against CHA, they're gonna take your stuff.
Right.
Fear mongering.
Real
You fear mongering. You escape. You try to escape from the plantation. They
Hold,
gonna kill
hold
you.
on now.
They gonna cut your foot off.
Fail.
Fear mongering.
Yep.
That Gen X didn't fail us either. I used to say Gen X failed us. Gen X didn't fail us. Millennials didn't fail us. We all have some sellouts in each part of in each of these generations. You got some sellout boomers, some sellout Gen X, some sellout millennials, and they're making little baby sellouts right now. As we talk.
Yep. As we saw.
Yeah. So nobody failed us. It was this. We have sellouts. We got Jesse Jacksons in each generation.
Right. Al Sharpton still around.
Yeah. So
Doing
all
All I
right,
can say is, anything that you think, anything, whatever it is, anything that you think that the previous generations didn't do that, up to your par. Understand discrimination, racism, injustice, unfairness, those things haven't gone anywhere. So
Mhm.
anything that you think the previous generations failed in doing, you come on with it. Let's see what
Right.
you can do right now.
Right.
Because there's plenty injustice and unfairness and racism and discrimination to go around. Plenty of it to this very day. So why
Mhm.
sit up and poke holes at what the people did that came before you? Because they did with what they thought was best at that time. I can rest your mind assured. None of them did what they thought would inflict further harm on them. I can
Mhm.
guarantee you that none of them sat anywhere and said, what can I do to get more water hoses sprayed on me? What can I do to get me whipped more? What can I do more to get me raped more? What can I really
Mhm.
do to sell my kids off more? What can I really do to get more dog bites on me? Oh,
right,
where's an even more dirtier water fountain to drink from? Oh, I want even more under-resourced school. I can guarantee you none of them
right,
was saying that. I bet you they were doing the best that they could
At that
in
time.
given the
Exactly right.
circumstances that they had. Because unlike you and unlike any of us today, they didn't have the laws already.
right,
Yep.
So anything that you think that you could do better, knock
right,
out some of this. Knock
That's
out some of
good.
this stuff that we're talking about right now.
Right.
You right now, go fix
right.
CHA. Go file that lawsuit against
Go file
CHA.
a lawsuit.
You right now. Come do these press conferences that me and Zoe need to settle our cases. You right now. Go down
Mhm.
there to CPS and fix these under-resourced schools. You right now. Go
Right,
deal with them gangbangers that's out there. You right now go fix our families that's all broken with the nuclear families being all to you know so much more than they did. Prove it. Don't just bump your gums. Go out here and do what they did.
wow.
Right.
Sick of that. I'm sick of that. About hearing about who failed what from people who got the world at their feet and won't have do half of what they went through. I
Right.
dare you.
Right.
I dare you. If somebody pointed a water hose at you right now, you'd be the first nigga to run. Get out my face. Girl, you making me get off this live. Are we done now?
Okay. Woo!
Sick of that. Sick of that.
Woo!
I want to show me one person in this chat that got more courage than my mother and father had. Where are you? Where are you?
Woo! I feel it. Amen. Amen.
Facts.
Amen. Amen. Because each
You
one
go
teach
ahead.
one, baby. Each
Facts.
one teach one.
I dare you.
Each one teach one. This is what I'm talking about. Okay? This is a final movement. This is the movement for everybody. Okay? We all can do this. Okay? Okay? This is the common sense movement. This is the final movement. Our ancestors did the groundwork.
That's right.
They did more than any of us will ever do. They invented these things that we built on today, but they were the original inventors.
That's right. That's right. Yep. That's right.
Get out my face when the only thing y'all want to do is hit some keys on the phone, want to hit some keys on the computer. Get out my face.
Right. Ooh. Bars.
Get out my face.
Bars. I know that's right, Auntie Jessica. Yeah.
Man, don't make me call Doris.
Oh, yeah.
Don't you make me call Doris and have her come in on this link. And she's 81 years old. Tell her about what she failed. I dare you. You won't show your face outside tomorrow.
All right. But you know what, though? We got this. But yeah, y'all got to think better about yourselves. Okay? I saw my mother the other day. It's a blessing to be around me. And that's what y'all got to think like. That's why y'all just be letting anybody do anything like that. If you believe you are blessed, there ain't nowhere in the world you drinking brown water.
That's right.
What the baby boomers got to do with that?
Right now, drinking brown water. What they got to do with that?
What that got to do with that? They had to go common sense to fight to stop drinking from that old nasty, filthy, colored water fountain. Exactly. They fought to not drink from an old nasty, dirty, filthy water fountain. But what did you do to stop drinking brown water?
Still drinking. I was raised with a dining room table. Okay. The baby boomers and the silent generation they cared about dining room tables. Okay. It ain't that many dining room tables out here. When you
nobody eat that.
What the baby boomers got to do with that?
Right. They ain't got no dining room tables. They all eating at the island.
Why ain't
with
nobody
15 different names on your mailbox?
15 different names on your mailbox.
Why not? What they got to do with all these y'all allowing all these illegals to come in y'all neighborhood and taking all your money? What they got to do with that?
They setting them up with a dining room table.
That's no fight. Look, that's no fight right now. That's no fight right now.
They leaving the family together and giving them a dining room table.
Right.
And they nobody speak English. We gotta speak Spanish, but they don't gotta speak English.
Right. And y'all not fighting for anybody.
What the baby boomers got to do with that?
That's what y'all can do right now.
We have to all do our part. Exactly. Right. We have to all do our part. And that's real talk.
That's true.
Real talk. So y'all need to start getting I'm trying to tell you, we have to start getting registered to vote. Get your kids registered to vote. Get your aunts stuff. Start talking to your baby boomer grandmas and stuff. Now they're gonna talk to you too now. You gotta break it down to when they were growing up versus now.
Yes.
Okay.
It's more younger people still around than it is older people. Right. So rather than you bothering older people about what they gonna do,
Mm-hmm.
Go talk to the youngest.
Yes.
Because these older people know exactly why they doing what they do. The Democratic Party did that civil rights bill and got them out of Jim Crow at that time. Those people, a lot of those people are still living. They
Right.
lived that horror. Now, I'm not saying that a lot of things didn't happen since that time, but as it pertains to that, that's where their head is. Leave them alone. Leave them alone. If they want to switch over and change, they will. The majority of them are way more wiser than what's kicking up today. You can believe that. So now use some of that energy to bring in the young people, because the
That's
young
right.
people are voting at age 18.
That's right.
Right.
They got their whole life to vote.
Yup.
And they got their whole life to prove just how politically intelligent they are.
That's
Right.
right.
They got their whole life to prove that they would dare do that. They got their whole life to prove. If it would have been me, I would have. Yeah, now they got their whole life to prove that.
Right.
Yup.
The older people, they proved what they needed to prove.
Yep.
That's why the older people got houses that's paid off. The older people got money in the bank. The
Mm-hmm.
older people got stuff to pass on to their generations because they did what they had to do. Now you, Mr. Know Everything, Miss Got All the Answers, do what you got to do.
That's right. That's right.
Maybe your name will make a history book. Maybe they'll make a movie about you.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you'll get a documentary. Maybe one day people will see you at City Hall on footage.
Right.
You do what you got to do.
Footage.
Mm.
How about that part?
Wow. That's deep. That's right.
I know the younger generation, the old machine has started to collapse, and they started to build this new machine of sellouts that's not going to happen.
Like
Yup.
Lamar Hall.
Yeah, yeah.
Yup.
I mean, like William Hall, Clay,
Clay.
What's
Mac
that?
Martin,
What's the dude we just did? Central. Rose.
Rosa,
Yup.
Carla Rosa,
Yup.
Yeah.
Vasquez.
Rodriguez Sanchez.
Yeah, they starting to bring that younger
Maria
machine.
Haddon.
Yup.
Jeanette Taylor.
That's the new machine. That's the
Yup.
new machine. So now all you black, very, very courageous people that got all the answers, you make sure you don't let them Hispanics take over City Hall and take over Chicago. How about that part?
How about that part?
How
How
about
about
that part? Because the baby boomers and the ancestors took on the oh so powerful white man. That's how come we where we are today. They took on the white man. They
Right.
took on Massa. They fought them back. That's why we are today. So now let's see you fight back the illegals. Let's see you fight back the Hispanics down there in City Hall. Come on, bring that courage to
Yeah.
City Hall and set them Hispanics straight. Set
Right.
these illegals straight, like how our ancestors set the white boys straight.
Yeah.
How about that part?
That part. That part.
5 across the boards. 5 across the board.
That part.
Here's your opportunity. No, here's your opportunity for you to prove that you way more than them.
I don't know why do you come here. You just be saying this.
It really is your opportunity. That's so
Here's
true.
your opportunity. It's yours for the taking. It's right here, right now. It's all over the United States. It's right here, right now. It's yours for the taking. It's your opportunity for them to throw away every 1960 movie and film strip. They could just throw it away because here's your opportunity to make a new civil rights movement for 2024. Yours could be the boomer that never failed. Yeah. Here's your opportunity. Here's your opportunity. The name of the documentary could be "This How I'm Gonna Put All Jim Crow Survivors in Check." Yeah, come on. Come on. Come on.
Right.
Make it where we never have to look at another black and white water hose dog bite film again. Come on.
That's right.
Come on. Show us how y'all just took on the system with the internet.
Right. I had to blame this one guy. He's
Oh,
a weirdo. Well,
that's funny.
Daddy's stupid.
Oh,
Daddy crazy.
yeah. So I think we did good.
that's funny.
Any last words of
So
anything?
are we going to be doing the Friday this next Friday? Are we coming on for?
Yeah, we talking about what the corrupt judge.
Judges. Famous Friday for corrupt judges. We're gonna make corrupt judges famous Friday.
Okay.
Yeah. The next Friday is the corrupt judges.
Famous Friday for corrupt judges. Yep.
Right. Yes. All right. Please like, subscribe, share this,
Please.
and especially if you know somebody that's a CHA honey. If she a CHA honey, please let her watch this so she can get her some money so she can get out of being a CHA honey.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, because right now they're about to make the mamacitas, the new CHA honeys.
Sure.
Sure. Uh-huh.
The mamacitas,
Uh-huh.
the papacitas stay in there.
They already doing it.
The papas stay in the house though.
Yup. You're right. The father's able to stay in the house.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they ain't right. They don't have to be broken up.
Ain't that something?
Yeah.
Ain't that something? Ain't that something, Dan? Ain't that something? They're allowed to have their families.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
What is that say? The older people what?
Fail for Laquan. I need a ride. All right. We're gonna have the buses loaded up. We're going to Springfield.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. After the holiday season.
And honor to all three of you sisters for fighting against the corruption and racism that affects our people in Chicago. You're welcome. We all we got.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. We just need you all to vote different. We got to vote red. We got to get these people up out of here. That's all we need.
Exactly. We good with that. All right. Thank y'all.
You good? I think we made CHA famous.
CHA famous. This was dedicated to you, Cheryl Burns. This is dedicated to you, Murdoch, the new CEO coming in, starting with the corruption BS. This is dedicated to you, Lauren Dunlap, who's a CHA contractor and who's playing with them seniors down there and when it comes to them vouchers and leading them on saying one thing and going back on and making it like they delusional or they got Alzheimer's or crazy stuff like that, playing on their mental. So shout out to you, Lauren Dunlap. You know, shout out to HUD. Arana Troutman, who took over Marsha Fudge's place and didn't do anything. While Marsha Fudge didn't do anything, you absolutely did not do anything as well. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
You are absolutely, you suck. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Where is Kwame Raoul? We don't know.
We don't know. Can you find them? If you find them, please let us know. You can maybe do a wellness check.
No one knows where Kwame is, so we still don't know where Kwame is. And Greg Mitchell is the one who I guess finally started going off and got them people from 73rd and Phillip. They say that was Greg Mitchell. Greg Mitchell told Brandon, come get them people up out of there.
Is that right?
Yeah.
It's about time.
Greg Mitchell.
See you all. When you start holding people accountable, what you can get done. If you holding your aldermen accountable, you can get some things done.
Calling up there. People's calling up Greg Mitchell phone, the office. They was calling. People's calling. Okay.
You
Yeah, because they ain't trying to. The property taxes don't matter when you got red light cameras all in our neighborhoods.
Right.
They take just as property taxes.
Right, and all these other taxes, nickel and dime taxes.
Property taxes, red light taxes, same thing.
Yeah, yeah. So that's what I said. Call them, let them know. We know what you did. We know that you voted on that budget, and you will be. We will look. Let me see the shirts. We coming for those seats. You will
Yeah.
not be in office. What's that? They
Vote red.
we coming for them seats.
We coming for them seats. Ain't nobody playing.
Nobody playing with them. So you vote for that budget. You out of there.
Live
And
Robert Taylor home.
uh,
Somebody said, "Long live Robert Taylor." Yeah, I heard great stories out of Robert Taylor, man.
yeah.
Yeah, back in the day,
Oh,
I had cousins that stayed in Robert Taylor. Yeah, back in the day, that's where you learned how to step at Robert Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
Boy said he came from Robert Taylor homes.
Who?
David Moore,
Who?
I know he used to ride the yellow bus because he said he came from Robert Taylor homes.
David Moore,
Yeah, he was on that yellow bus.
small head.
That's what I believe.
Yeah,
Robert Taylor Holmes and
he probably had a little helmet on his head. He probably was the first one to wear a helmet to school.
That little, yeah, that small head. Protect that little small head. Yeah.
Yeah, he probably wore it until he was 17. That's why
He has
they
to
had
go.
that helmet as a baby since he was 7.
That's right.
Shaped like a peanut.
Yeah, small head. He got
silly.
He looked like you know the Beetlejuice. And you know that man with that big suit.
yeah.
And that little head. Every time with
Yeah.
that head.
Oh,
Can't stand
you
you.
are you are wild. You are wild.
All right. How that goes. On campus, where's Kwame Raoul? Where's the campus at? Maybe if we stroll.
Maybe if we get some canes.
Maybe some canes. If we get some canes and ask for Kwame Raoul, let's do a little.
Cause where is he?
Where is he?
This is unacceptable.
A little shimmy.
Yeah.
A little shimmy.
It's no way. Yo,
Where is he?
that's terrible. It's no way. He's sitting out. Look, collecting that money. It's no way your elected official should be and still getting that check. It's no way we should allow this.
It's giving Karen Yarborough.
Oh, he's giving Karen Yarborough.
That's what I'm thinking. But if that's the case, then who made the statement to Brandon Johnson a couple of weeks ago about holding him in contempt if he didn't if he cut the police? They said Kwame Raoul made that told that to Brandon Johnson. So if it's Karen Yarborough-ish, how did that happen?
Told them to move them or else.
You said what?
For the illegals, that neighborhood told them to move them or else.
Oh, you said the neighborhood said move them or else. Right.
Over there on Phillips. They talking about over there on Phillips.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody playing with y'all.
That's y'all gotta take
the police not coming out because they can't arrest them. What's the point? Why do I gotta do all this paperwork and y'all gonna let them right back out?
Yup.
Yeah.
Y'all residents gotta take control like y'all doing.
They said David Moore left after the 3rd grade. He said he was raised over there. He left after 3rd grade.
Right. Yeah.
David Moore. Y'all just a lion. He lived on 4429 South Federal.
Yeah, that's Robert Taylor.
Yeah. We gotta take our communities back. It's over for these people.
Back. All right. So that was good. I appreciate y'all. Please like and subscribe and share. We will be back next Friday, 6 p.m.
Yeah.
And
make your famous Friday for corrupt judges.
Famous Friday for corrupt judges. All right.
Love
God bless.
Love you guys. Good night.
Good night.
Bye-bye.